so 20, you must have been almost 23 when you left.
Yeah, I think I was 23 because I started probably a year later than most would at 18. So yeah, then 19, 4.5 years at the University of Texas, which was an awesome experience. Absolutely loved that. It was kind of similar. When I was just reflecting on it a little bit today, actually, I thought it's kind of similar as when I started that National Academy period, where the days just went from quite narrow and feeling a little small, and I could be pushed in other ways to just like poof, like so much going on, tennis, academics, social, and the analogy I always use with the uni stuff when I'm chatting to players that are considering it or coached and everything is you've basically got those three juggling balls: your academic, social, and tennis. Trying to juggle them, but you can only really juggle two. And essentially dropping one the whole time. So
which one did you drop?
Well, it would just be a constant. They would constantly changing. Yeah, literally over a 2 or 3 week period, you'd drop the tennis, then drop the academics, then drop the social. It'd just be going on and on like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely loved that. And then came out of that end of 2011, and then started full time. Professionally, 2012.
Yeah. And what do you think what were your top learnings from the university or the college experience?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I absolutely loved the team environment, and I kind of thought I would, having just been exposed to it in traditional kind of county stuff prior, and learned a lot from that, just in terms of the team dynamics, playing for each other, training together, being good mates, all the communication that goes along with that. As you go through the years, it often kind of lends itself to trying to become a leader within that group. And so definitely love that. And then from a tennis perspective, it's a great pressure environment. I mean, you are just confronted with pressure all the time. And I remember distinctly thinking when I was 19, I can't wait to start university to reduce the amount of pressure, because I was already starting to play professionally and trying to get points and all that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I reluctantly went to uni. When I was 18, I'd have said I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I was keeping the option open because my 2 older brothers had done it. But until 4 or 5 months before I went, I was saying I want to play full time. So it was kind of a backup option for me that I'm so thankful I made the decision to do it. And I was like, one of my stories is the best result I ever had was a shocking loss, because on a futures trip in April of 2007, I had an absolute horror show, and it was so confronting that I was like, I'm not good enough for this. Like, get me out to American uni, and that took me down a different path that I'm so happy I did. Yeah. So. And then, on the tennis side, the pressure's big. Like I said, despite thinking it would ease off because it was university and it didn't have the same weight, as soon as you're in that environment, and the American colleges do a great job of creating a real culture and everything, all of their, they call it their athletic programs, but all of their sport, all of the unis behind everything, you can't help but get swept up in that. Yeah. And then just team tennis, we've all been there. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have been in those county environments where you're at a weekend county thing with no money, no points, nothing on the line, and you're tight as a drum because you're trying to win for your team and your counties.
Yeah.
It
sounds like you, even just obviously if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can't see the facial expressions of Ed, but I can see it's like the way you're describing it, even the emotion of the way you're describing it is you rose to the pressure.
Well, yeah, and crumbled massively at times.
Really?
But both. You're just exposed to it. Yeah. That was brilliant. I mean, like a nice little story example of that is 2 big matches I found myself in, because the team nature of it, and the first to 4 with the 7 matches. I'm not sure how. I'm sure you're very familiar with the American setup, but. You can be going along with all your singles, 6 singles going along simultaneously, and it all being a team effort. And then suddenly all of them can finish, and it can be 3-3 in the match, and it come down to you. which is just funny that you don't get in regular tennis when it's just your match. Is suddenly the pressure's like turned up to 100 out of relatively nowhere. And I had 2 finals of our conference championships back-to-back years, my sophomore year, second year, and then third year in my junior year. And the sophomore year, I was, I think, 4-2 up in the third to win this whole big tournament, which was big for the uni, big for everyone, and basically choked. And then and then a full year on, got literally in the same situation, 3-3 in the third against a different team, but the same final of it was like weirdly coincidental, where you can't help but you're in the match locked in at 3-3, and you're like, how has this happened again? This is and rose to it then, and actually my performance went up and won the. That was probably my most enjoyable moment of the whole uni experience from a tennis standpoint. So just both. But that's what is brilliant about it, is I'm sure if there are any people listening that played college tennis, you can relate to both of those.
And I think because it's relatively fixtured, there's no hiding place. It's not like, in a way, you can't say, right, I'm not feeling it, so I'm going to withdraw or not enter these tournaments. It's like you almost see the year mapped out to a degree.
So true.
Yeah. So I think maybe speak about that in a little bit, about potentially what could happen with the tennis tour after this pandemic's over, because I think there's a degree of, let's say, openness to at least look at the calendar now, because of, we could be looking at an entire year virtually wiped out. So